Happy Sunday here in Maryland. Welcome to Today at the Races. Callie Francois, Keith Fusel next to me. Keith, what a overall weekend that we've had. Let's start off Jamie Ness breaking some not breaking records, but getting his name in the record books. 7 races on Friday. Followed that up with 2 yesterday. One of them being marvelous, a $55.20. Let me, 20 cent in the Conover there. So 1-2 yesterday. Let's see what today brings, Keith.
How about it? Yeah, and I believe Baracho before that at a price of like 8-1, so a good daily double if you hook those two up. And ended that early pick 5 for a payout of $6,350. So, J-Rod, he is doing it right now. I'm telling you, it's hard to just kind of dismiss any one of his horses here. I tell you, and Ness, his kind of trainer, his main guy,
at this point.
they just been deadly. So yeah, busy day yesterday. A lot of good races, good performances. I thought, Lady Lowry, she answered the question in the Beyond the Wire with dirt stretching out. Hayes Strike talking about the private term. So we're kind of centering around these 3-year-olds right now. But I was shocked to see him get off at 8-1. I just didn't see that happening. I had him at 7-2. I thought maybe I had him lined a little too low. But the Kenny McPeak factor, kind of a major player shipping in, getting Lasix, and really got the setup that we thought and was able to get it done. Coffee with Chris ran great from that outer post, made that bid 3 deep to battle, so I thought he ran quite well. Nimitz Class, what can you say at him? He's like the older horse now, and these stakes are he's going to be tough to deal with down the road.
Potentially, a couple of people, just as far as press goes, this is not from Bruce Corvettes, but just a couple of people in the press are like, oh, Pimlico Special. So we'll see what comes up for Nimitz Class there in the future. Because Bruce said this horse could go, has potential to, and sights are going a bit longer with that guy. So we'll see what happens there. But let's get going on today. Today's Sunday. Of course, we were just talking about before we got on air, a little chilly this morning. Not a big fan of it, especially with those winds. Glad I'm not outside, Keith, but we do have a fast track here today.
Yeah, Gina let the dog out early this morning. He did not want to stay out. He said, back to bed for me. He went about it. So that's enough. So when the dog says it's too cold, it's too cold because he likes to go out there and run around. So
there we go.
Chilly.
And we're inside and talking about the races here on Sunday, starting with the early pick 5 here in race number 1, this maiden claiming 30 for the straight 3-year-old girls. Let's talk about your top selection, 5-2, with John Brusino on top today. 4-1 right now. Still keeps at 4-1.
Yeah, second off a little bit of a break here. Couldn't get close to the favorite, Maria from Miami, last time. I think she'll revert to some of those better races you saw at 2, the Lasix going on. I'm just concerned the flow is going to be quick enough. I think she can chase, and not that she's got that big punch, but I think she just might stay the trip, and the speed might come back to her. We'll see, but the Lasix going on is the key for me. Had a little trouble against a little bit better prior to the break, so gives a little bit of value. Yes, the one looks like the horse to beat, no doubt. 3 seconds in a row, 4 of the last 5 with seconds. Will be part of it. I think Mama's Eyes, just to her outside, will be a presence as well. She'll have to deal with that one around the turn. An interesting firster, a horse that I'm going to throw into the mix is the 4, Notion Street. You have this one in your selections as well. By Great Notion, a 16% sire with the first-time starters. Bottom side mare, lone win on the turf, but you go back. Second dam was okay, a 3-time winner, and topped at an 85 on the dirt at Gulfstream Park. Intriguing. Chucky Lawrence, too. He's been okay, a little sneaky the last couple years. The last year. 3 for 15, 7 for 15 in the money with the firsters on the dirt.
And that's to add to that now. That's 3, 5. It's 7 for 18 now with the first time starter as of lately. But one interesting factoid is the 35% with Barbosa specifically on the dirt. So that's what attracted me to Notion Street. Just that bit of a deadly combo there with Chucky Lawrence and J-Ron Barbosa.
A little bit of shuffling there too, Callie, with the jockeys. I think Barbosa might have been early named on Little Late Luck and ends up here. Maybe a little bit of a tell.
Yes, a little bit of a tell. There we go. Sorry about that. Race number 2 starts at the early pick 4. Keith, your ticket, as per usual. What say you about Sunday racing here today?
I say $18. That's what I say. People might be a little light on the funds. I'm not so sure. We've been okay this weekend. So I think we can get this one together. Two deep, 3 in the 7 to get you started. Dunder Boss, 1 Las Olas for these 3-year-old fillies going long. 3 deep in the third with the 2, 3, and 9. Like Soup in there, I think I've got Soup upon further review and the way the Rodriguez Nest combo has been going.
Sure.
Too high at 6. Let's see if we can get 3 or 7 to 2 on Soup. It is a big field, and that horse did not take much play last time out. Race 4, 3 in the 6. Cryo, Classier. Big scratch there on the 2. Sponsored. Take out the 2. Sponsored in race number 4. Race 5, we wrap it up with the 4, 6, and 8. Mr. Thrifty. He doesn't mind a trip to Laurel Park. So that's your ticket, $18.
There you go. $18 on Sunday for Keith Fusel. It starts in this claiming 12-5 for the straight 3-year-old fillies going a 1-turn mile on the dirt. Let's take a look at that effort from 1 Las Olas for Claudio Gonzalez. Keeps Yomar Ortiz as we see on screen today.
Yeah, and I think she's just cycling in the right direction, maturing a little bit. I know she was beaten by Dunder Boss a couple races back. This is second time Lasix, and she ramped up this run, Callie, from around the half-mile pole. And I like the way she just kind of sustained and kept on going. Under steady pressure here, on her correct lead with Yomar blows by and widens to win by 7. I just think she's the horse that can just kind of make that progression up another notch. Maybe she'll hit like a higher 50 buyer. Let's project that. But there is some speed in here with Grass Cutter to the inside and to the outside then come morning. So the flow should be honest. Drop kick Queen could be in there as well. Loop and Swoop for the 7. I think Dunder Boss is the main threat, though. First off the claim for Ricky Stillman. Ricky with a good couple runners down at Tampa yesterday.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Happy for Ricky. There we go. Race number 2. Keith Fusel goes 7-3, 1-2. Race number 3 is a maiden claiming 12-5 for the 4 and 5-year-olds. 8 for a mile, 1-turn mile here on the dirt. Keith, you've got your number 2 on top. Soup for Jamie Ness, as you mentioned, blinkers on with Jamie Rodriguez.
Yeah, I kind of glanced at the breeding a little bit, and it's a little bit of a turf kind of a sprint lean. But I like the way he kind of, after early adversity, a little bouncing around at the gate, worked between and got out about 4 wide. This horse churned on pretty well. I think he's going to take to the distance. Sprint the route the last couple of years with these maiden claimers, he's 35%. It's just nothing but stat after stat after stat for Jamie Ness. So, yes, questionable speed types in here. I think No Time Like Present will stay around. First time for Ferry. I think he'll get put into the race early and hang a little bit better today. I think he's more suited for this 7/8 or a mile distance than the 6 furlongs. He just got away from him last time. But Soup from off the pace.
Soup off the pace, 2-9-3-10 for Keith Fusel in that second leg of the early pick 4. Third leg is race number 4 with a claiming 40,000 going 6 furlongs on the dirt for the 4-year-olds end up, which have never won 2. Let's go ahead and take a look at my ticket. That does kick off the Rainbow Pick 6. We've got a carryover of 4,700 getting into there. Let's talk about the ticket. My structure, simple structure today. Nothing too crazy, too fancy. That starts in this first leg. If we could get a look at that ticket. Oh, we got a little bit of a technical problem. Not anymore. Race number 4, 3-6-7. My top selection in there being the number 6 Classier, as you mentioned in that field, Keith. Race number 5, starter optional 12-5. I go with the number 4, so I go 4-8. Why not? Race number 6, I go with 1, 5, 8, and 9. I get lucky adding into the 1A automatically. Otherwise, if I didn't get that gift, I would still add in the 1A in that maiden claiming 45. A lot of action there. Return of Victor Carrasco from his big time layoff there in race number 6. Keep your eyes open for that one on a Grand Motion starter. Race number 7, 2 deep, 3-6. Why not? 3's over Deuces, Mr. Hustle. Let's see if 3's over Deuces can finally get a little bit of luck and a win under the belt. Race number 8, my single is number 7 factored in. Why not? Absolutely in that race. And race number 9, I doubled down in that claiming 16, which have never won 3 on the 3 and 6 awfully fast and the Haunted Room. But that was just the last race I talked about. Let's talk about the first race that gets things going here in this Rainbow Pick 6. In this, as I mentioned, the claiming 40,000, which have never won 3-6 furlongs for the 4-year-olds and upwards. Big scratch in the number 2 sponsored. Keith, you land on Cryo for Jamie Ness and Jamie Rodriguez. Why not?
Basically, right. I was talking to Dan Ullman, and thanks to Dan for joining me yesterday on the morning show. He does a phenomenal job every time. brings it. And like I say, if you get a chance and you're kind of maybe a little behind and haven't gotten your handicapping done, I trust in his picks just as well as mine. He's really into it. Does a lot of hard work, and I know he puts his money where his mouth is. So.
Yes.
Cryo, yeah, maybe retooled here. A couple bullet works coming in. I like on the way go back here. This is second time off the claim for Ness. This horse back in July of 22 ran against some really fast horses, showed some sharp speed. That horse Silk Trade, who he ran against, got beat a couple lengths after being chewed up in that battle. He's come back recently. He's like a 2 other than winner. He came back to run like an 86 at Churchill, facing the right kind. So he's going to be, I think, a different type of horse today. I know he looks like maybe a router per se. Maybe he's not quite as fast as Boss Man JJ with that gate speed, but I think he's going to be on the engine. Close up today, on the leader, stalk and pounce, going second off the claim off of Ness. And like you say, just take Ness and Rodriguez. I don't really have to give any real explanation right now. The percentages are in your favor. Classier, your top selection. I'd like to hear your interest in this one. A horse that on the go back beat Defunded in the Low-Sal Derby. I mean, we know how good Defunded is.
We know there's potential for this horse. The only thing that I worry about this horse is that we've had 3 scratches from the 15th of January to the 4th of March. So looking at that was a Santa Anita scratch and then a Laurel scratch on the 24th of February. So Brittany, obviously, with those works, has had this horse for a little while. Just after February, has come over here to the Mid-Atlantic circuit. Was a scratch on a muddy surface over at Aqueduct. So it was a steward scratch. So that's just a surface scratch for the most part. But just I couldn't trust it. The only reason I had this, sponsored was my top selection.
Okay.
So that's why this one inherited my top selection. Right. So I'm going to just go with the fact that also these Brittany Russell horses that have been coming in from Baffert, both of them have won. So I'm just kind of riding that bandwagon a little bit. I don't really have much more to say outside of that. Of course, Brittany Russell 30% first after the layoff.
All right. There you go. Yep. Yeah. I mean, interesting. Scratches a couple times. Now in for the tag. I mean, what do you kind of do there? It's a really tough go. But, just the way this barn's been going in Cryo, I think in the recent works, he looks like he'd probably be ready to go. Down Cold has run okay. Turning back, though, the sprint, is he going to be able to kind of get up in time? That's the key for him because I think Boss Man JJ looks like the horse that's going to go Cryo right there. So 3, 6, 7, 1. Yeah, Classier really just throws a wrench in everything. It just kind of messes with your brain. Because if he brought anything close to an A game, it looks like he should probably beat this field. But guess what?
And when I get into
they got to run the race.
When I get into that position where it scrambles with my brain, I just then go with the obvious. So race number with that being said, race number 5 in that starter optional 12-5 going 1 mile and 16th on the dirt, scratching the 1 Moda Galley. Let's take a look at your Mr. Thrifty. This was back on February 22nd. I'm still living in January, but over up in Pennsylvania in race number 8 from the quarter pole to the wire.
Yeah, Mr. Thrifty, 2 really good efforts, actually 3 in a row. This is the race on the 22nd, most recent behind El Hermano, just doing that circling move and closing in. Can't quite get the job done, gets beat 3 parts of a length. But Mr. Thrifty is a horse that's very familiar with Laurel Park. I know a guy upstairs in the press box who's going to be very happy to see Mr. Thrifty. He owes him no money whatsoever. And, hey, he's back. He's got a little bit of a tough post. He's got some speed, I think. I wish Modagali would have stayed in, could have enhanced that flow a little bit. But he's got that kind of loop and swoop move that I think might work, and it's kind of worked on this racetrack recently.
He's okay.
So let's see.
And he's a type that the loop and swoop type okay with a bit of a wide trip, especially with this one. You go into this horse can handle is okay and probably prefers a wide trip. Nobody likes to say that a horse prefers a wide trip, but just the way with this horse's style is, I don't see him being particularly brave either. So I'm not too upset by that outside post with him.
Yeah, I like how he keys up to against some of these horses you're seeing. Lost My Voucher, Mystic Link kind of keys up with him off of that last race, which was really good. A little bump up here for Nessa Confidence. That was a 3-horse field. But again, this horse got comfortable. He leveled off. Rodriguez got along with him beautifully. Pretty decent internals. It goes now out to 2 turns. I think he's going to be a factor on or near the lead. Oxide is holding form here for Kieran McGee. The question mark horse for me might be The 2 are Lucky Man. You see horses getting into that little habit. All slowly refused. Is he going to bring it again?
I said no. I said absolutely not.
That's tough. That's tough. So 8-6-4-5 for me here in race 5. It's tough to separate. Assembly Point kind of tried to do the dirty work, made a pretty good move and flattened. Maybe a little more patience will pay off for him this afternoon. The higher price of the McGee runners.
And Keith Fussell goes 8-6-4-5, and with that, we'll be right back to talk about the rest of Sunday's card.
And they're off.
Welcome back to Sunday's card. Hopefully we have enough action for you as we've had over the past couple of days this weekend. Starts back up in this maiden claiming 45, going 7 furlongs on the dirt for the straight 3-year-old. Scratch in the number 2, we call him Clyde, and scratch in the 10, Northern Rye. Keith, you land on the number 5, or excuse me, the number 1, Star Street. Excuse me, I'm getting mixed up.
That's okay. I'm going to go with the 5.
You're going to go
I'll
with the
run
5.
with it right from here.
Yes.
Library of Congress, and this is a move I usually
Perfect.
I don't make much in picking a grand motion first or on top, because the last 3 years maidens on the dirt, firsters I should say, first
time
starters
stars
on the dirt. He's only like 2 for 30. But this is interesting. This is the return of Victor Carrasco. Glad to have him back. So is there any chance we put him on a Cadillac for the return ride and get it done? That's the way kind of things work sometimes.
With these works, it kind of looks like that. 2 gate work. Here's the thing what perks my attention. Off of the pole, sure, not the quickest worker. You see that 5 furlong work in February 11th, 102 and 2, and then 50 and 3 on March 3rd and a half mile. But look at those gate works. Both bullet works, decent enough samplings, but nice enough times. 48 and flat on February 16th, and then the 5 furlong, minute and 1 for the 5 furlongs. That's a horse that understands his job. So that that attracts me a little bit. I wanted to put this horse a bit higher on my. I'm glad you have him on top because I wanted to put him higher. He did. There was definitely some attraction there, specifically with those works.
I'm taking a shot because the race is so wide open. I mean, you could talk me almost into every horse in here. I don't know if Sheriff Ronnie's quite good enough. He might, but everybody else, I think, has got a serious chance to win. His honor code, the stallion here, he's not the best. He's 8% with the firsters, but you talked about that recent work. It looked like he may have worked with this 2-year-old or 3-year-old, I should say. There was a Uncle Mo filly, that $285,000 purchase might have been that one. So, and the works considerably compared to the rest of them, it was significantly better than anybody on that track that day. So we'll see. The lone sibling was second in debut, a horse we were familiar with around here, and Smart Yuli, who ran a 53. Mid-50, high 50s, kind of get it done here. It's a reach of playing against
Smart
the percentage.
Yuli does not make me excited at all.
The only percentage that's good, regarding all this is probably the jockey-trainer combo. They're very good when they line up. Masterwork, Trombetta, now going maiden special, maiden claiming. This was a pretty good run first time out. Interesting, right back for a tag. You see the short comment, sluggish at the start, 4 wide. Made a pretty good run into an okay pace, and then got a little squirrely upper stretch. Hence the blinkers are going on. Could bring a little bit more focus. Leonidas came out of that race to run a pretty good run, stretching out, and obviously assumed nothing with a good figure coming back to win. So out of a key race is the 3 Masterwork, and I work to the outside with Ragtime Riches is another one. A step slower than a pinch, but then a really good move into a blistering pace comparatively to Star Street's race on the same day. So lots of ways to go here. We've got video of the 1, your top selection.
Yes,
right?
Star Street. That was back. That was back on February 26th, and that only effort that we saw in Star Street, just being able, just to get out a little bit. Keith, take it away.
Yeah, did he look maybe a little bit tentative to go through that spot, even though he had room, and then just finally kind of got it together. The confidence rose there at the 8th pole, and then he's going to swing out here and close up pretty well. I thought the energy to the wire was good. That was a Nest Firster that got it done in pretty good fashion with a buyer It was pretty strong. I have it here with maybe like a 63 decent. So out of the faster races, though, Ragtime Riches in Masterwork. We could talk about race 6 a long time. Anybody else you want to touch upon?
Well, I was going to touch on Masterwork. I missed
Okay.
this, but a gate work on March 12th with those blinkers on. That was a decent gate work.
Okay.
And then the Dam Sire Blame, 22%, 18 for 83 with his second time starters as well adds to the effect of that. So again, wide open. I regret not having Masterwork on my Rainbow Pick 6 ticket, but a wide open affair
Yeah.
here in this maiden claiming.
And this, here's a horse here. I'm just behind Star Street, just glancing. There's Hammy Smith with a horse with the old nothing but dash lines reared on, down a Colonial. Irish war cry out of a straight talking mare. You could probably get away running this horse for 16 or 20. Oh, a little protect move in here. We'll see. So and don't leave that one out of your exactas. Trust me.
I need to see the good behavior first.
Okay.
I want to see the good behavior before I see anything else. So
Mm-hmm.
you go for it, but I would take me personally. I would take the cautious approach. But again, a wide open affair in race number 6. Race number 7 is an allowance optional claiming 55,000, going 7 furlongs on the dirt for the 4-year-olds and up. Scratch in the 2, big scratch in Yodelay Ihu. Talk about the 3, Mr. Hustle for Jamie Ness, Jamie Rodriguez. What's not to like about this one?
There we go. J-Rod going to pick up the mount here, right? So I tell you, he was going to ride a Yodelay EO. This horse just in really good form. I was a little surprised last time out that he was able to kind of grind and got up. He was shorter price, just showing a lot of versatility as Mr. Hustle. 7-8 should be perfect for him. I'm a little concerned again about the flow. Kadri appears to be quick. I think he's going to go ahead and be aggressively ridden and try to go to the front. 3's overdeuces. Maybe he's finally found a spot because I think the flow is going to be perfect for him. He had a little bit of issue last time. He's up against the right kind of now loves Josie. He'll grind it out. I just think Mr. Hustle, he wants to win. That guy
does.
wants to get it done. So
Yep.
we'll take a shot with him. 3, 6, 1, and Fork. Sculptorio horse. He's really a hard horse to figure. He's flashed great speed, and they've tried to rate him. You don't know what you're going to get from him. But,
And that's why that's exactly why I couldn't trust it. So it's going to be interesting. I'm not as worried about the non-strong pace factor for Mr. Hustle because so many of these horses, especially yesterday over the weekend, have been coming from off of the pace and off of different types of off of the paces.
Yeah.
So the track is playing very, very fair, guys. I wouldn't be leaning against any towards sort of any speed bias at all.
Okay.
But maybe I just put the nail in the coffin right there. We'll find out as we tick along throughout the day. Race number 8 is in allowance for the 4-year-olds and upwards, going 6 furlongs on the dirt. Let's go ahead and take a look at Factor It In. Let's get right to it back from January 21st, just from the mid-turn to the wire.
Yes, we're going to go look at the fire plug here at 70 cents to the dollar. And boy, just a dream little stalking trip in the clear in third and just eyeing Air Token and 5 Dreams. 2 long shots in here. And I tell you, just rolls up and just goes on by. I just think in the General George, and this horse he's held great form for the Connections. They've done a phenomenal job. Sheffrey's the owner. They teamed up with the win with Marvelous yesterday. Yeah, congrats after some trouble. But Factor It In. I didn't think he ran terrible in the General George. They went quick. He chased. He just didn't quite kick on. But guess what? Lack of Lasix, possibly an issue in there. We'll see. Back on Lasix today, back in the woods, likable, but we'd be very quick. If they both break, they're going to set a very good pace in here. I think Factor In gets that trip again, like you just saw in the fire plug.
I'm not going to give him such the off the Lasix stuff as an easy excuse because he was able to do it in the Bold Ruler and then that other graded 3 at Aqueduct.
Yeah.
So I'm.
Maybe it was a 7/8.
Maybe it was a 7/8.
don't know.
He was able to handle the fire plug at 6.5 though.
Yeah.
I just don't. I think he got caught in when he got caught in a little bit of traffic. I don't think he was a fan of it. He likes he's a bit of a loop and swoop type. Likes to have a little bit of his open space. So he had the outside post last time. He gets it today. Maybe just gets handled a little bit better, a bit more in a more clever way today than last time out.
I'll put it like this. I think the Lasix back on isn't going to hurt him.
Sure.
that?
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely. Race number 9, disclaiming 16 for the girls 4 years old and upward, which have never won 3, going a mile and 16th. We're going to wrap things up with your top selection. Keith, awfully fast on the outside for Jamie Ness, Jamie Rodriguez. Let's see how many races he's going to end up winning today.
We'll see. I might have some company to deal with in the haunted room who has run well the last 2 routes. Now going to go ahead and try 2 turns. But awfully fast. Rock Rose, kind of a key horse. I think this one has the speed and the flow. It's just going to work right to her advantage today. I'm not worried about stretching back out a decent number at Gulfstream on the go back. So I think she'll be a little bit more relaxed and be able to bring a punch and maybe separate when those closers kind of come calling. Mo Fire, you saw Crispin get a win yesterday with Hellman early in the card. Might have been the opener.
It was.
So he's trying, and this horse is trying as well. He's the consistent closer, or she's the consistent closer, I should say, in here. I think she's the one that makes the run from off the pace, along with Red Wine Time, who is jumping a condition, but the blinkers go back on.
Let's see what happens there in that nightcap. That's an interesting nightcap that we've got going on. That could not really a wide open affair, but definitely some variables with a couple of horses there. But let's get into lightning round to wrap up this weekend of racing.
Yeah, let's see. Best bet? Is that what we're going to go to?
Let's do it.
Starts out a short price, unfortunately. Factor it in. Maybe even money. I don't know if you can quite get that 6 to 5.
Right.
We shall see. Value play, interesting. I kind of like it. You know, I think I've got this horse lined a little too high in Soup, but 7 to 2, 4 we might get. So not extreme value, but this race is so wide open. I think if you key this horse up and down with some horses in the exactas, shortest exact in here might be like $40, $45. That's how wide open that race is. So yeah, good weekend, Callie.
Good weekend, and with that, we're talking about a good weekend, good stakes action yesterday, and we're going to leave it off, and we're going to leave you to the delights of hearing Dave Rodman call those stakes races that we had yesterday. So thank you, everybody, and after that, we'll go to Dave Rodman for some more changes and scratches.
All right, good luck.
Outside now it is My Flicker actually taking the lead, and so in the stretch now it is a street loot correction there. My Flicker in between horses, and in between horses Combat Queen. Summer Odds on the far outside is Rolling 2. On the extreme outside is Marvelous. It is Street Loot, and here comes Marvelous. Marvelous timing it right. Eastern Bay is down inside, going to switch to the outside. The red blinkers of Eastern Bay trying to push on through in between horses. On the outside, Breezy Gust is right there too. 4 chances with a furlong left to go. Breezy Gust trying to get by Kenny Had a Notion. Breezy Gust on the outside. Kenny Had a Notion trying to dig down to the inside. Breezy Gust! Breezy Gust gets the lead. Versus Hello Hot Rod. On the extreme outside, there is American Patrol with a 1/4 mile left to go. Nimitz Class is pouring it on, opening up a 4-length lead. Nimitz Class from Our Nation on Parade. Double Crown. They're head-to-head for second. There's no doubt about it. Here's the class of the field. Nimitz Class. Nimitz Class by 5. Another stakes win for Nimitz Class. Coming home to win by almost 6 lengths. Our Lady Lowry, Happy Cloud switching to the outside for the final 1/4 mile. Cats in the Timber back in third, and Cairo Sugar driving in fourth. They're coming to the last furlong now. Lady Lowry kicks once again, 2.5 lengths as Happy Clouds loom but second, chasing Lady Lowry home through the final furlong. Lady Lowry, Happy Clouds. Cairo Sugarberry Game coming back for third. Cats in the Timber is next. Here's Lady Lowry and Jack Gilligan to take the Beyond the Wire stakes at the second wire. Begins to move up in between horses, and how great is Nate, tiring just a bit, 3/16 left to go, and on the outside, hey, strikes the front. Coffee with Chris willing to give that one a battle, just a neck behind with 1/8 of a mile left to go. It's Hayes Strike, Coffee with Chris, Hayes Strike, kicking Coffee with Chris, Hayes Strike, and the private term stakes to win.